The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The National Economic and Development Authority has approved the 170 billion peso solicited bid to rehabilitate the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA. NEDA Chief Arsenio Balisacan said the project is expected to address long-standing issues at the country's main gateway. These include the inadequate capacity of terminals, restricted aircraft movement, and service quality of the airport. The project, which is under the Transportation Department and the Manila International Airport Authority, is among the 3 new infrastructure projects approved by the NEDA board.
We expect to have the winning bidder within the year. And so as early as next year, we could have the project started. And yes, it will cover all the terminals, including all the facilities in both the aprons, the runways, and all related facilities.
And rice watchdog Bantay Bigas is calling on the Marcos administration to deliver on its promise of 20 pesos per kilo rice. The group expressed frustration that despite President Bongbong Marcos's repeated claims of nearing the goal of selling rice at 20 pesos per kilo, a clear solution to fulfill this commitment remains elusive. The group also believes that because of this, Marcos Jr. should resign as concurrent Agriculture Secretary. Marcos Jr. is set to deliver a second State of the Nation address in just a few days.
Marami pa rin ang hindi nakakabili dito dahil wala sa mga centers, wala mismo sa palengke. Sa 25 pesos na presyo ng bigas na binebenta ng kadiwa ay 50 consumers lang ang dapat makabili. Panawagan sa gobyerno na siya dapat ang bumili sa produkto ng ating mga magsasaka katulad ng palay sa presyong hindi bababa sa 20 pesos per kilo. At ipagiling niya yan at dalhin sa palengke para magkaroon ng murang presyo ng bigas.
The DA explained that hitting the target of 20 pesos per kilo of rice is not immediately feasible. And that's because of various factors, including irrigation concerns, especially during El Nino. The DA assured that they are reviewing strategies to bring down production costs.
Yung 25 pesos po ngayon na bigas na ibinebenta ng ating mga magsasaka mula sa Nueva Ecija at Tarlac, wala po itong subsidiya. Pero sila po ay nakahanap ng paraan para ibaba ang kanilang cost to produce.
In other news, progressive group Bayan promised a bigger protest action on Monday to coincide with President Marcos's second State of the Nation address. Bayan Secretary General Mong Palatino said they are expecting thousands to turn up as more people are angry at the government. Progressive groups actually held their so-called People's SONA on Tuesday, where Ibon Foundation slammed the failure of President Marcos to improve the lives of Filipinos. The group says no less than 18 or even 19 million Filipino families are currently experiencing hardship. Ibon also pointed out that despite the country's lower unemployment rate, available jobs are of low quality. According to Ibon, the 40 peso increase to the minimum wage in Metro Manila is not enough, with inflation still elevated.
Kahit bumabagal ang inflation, hindi ibig sabihin mas mura ng presyo ng bilihin. Ang sinasabi lang, mas mabagal ang pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin. Habang bumabagsak ang kalidad ng trabaho, habang bumabagsak ang kita ng mga pamilya, netong epekto, kahirapan sa bansa.
We have more stories coming your way after this quick break. Stay with us here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yang. One political analyst believes that former President Rodrigo Duterte meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping undermines President Bongbong Marcos. Strat-based President Dindo Manhit said this only proves that Duterte was appeasing China during his presidency. Manhit also believes that this meeting only goes to show former President Duterte's subservience to China, noting that Beijing has repeatedly ignored the Philippines' arbitral win in the South China Sea dispute.
From undermining, it gives some truth that he was not only appeasing China, and we have lost so much during that time, our capacity to protect and improve our external defense, but he was actually subservient to China. And his actions reflects that as a former president.
On the flip side, former National Security Advisor Clarita Carlos sees Duterte's visit to Xi as an unofficial attempt to improve ties between Manila and Beijing. Carlos does not see the former president's visit to Beijing as an attack on the Marcos administration.
I suspect, my hunch is that he is there as an interlocutor because of the increasing tension between Philippines and China. Sinabi nga ng isang resource person yon, si Manhit, na ina-undermine niya yung present administration. I don't think so. With all due respect, I disagree with him. Any effort for us not to go to war, for us not to be, to have our legs pulled into the war of the United States in regard to Taiwan is good.
For his part, President Bongbong Marcos is hoping that former President Rodrigo Duterte will share more details on what went down in his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The chief executive said that his predecessor does not need to ask for his permission to meet with the Chinese president and that he was aware of Duterte's visit to Beijing. Marcos Jr. also hopes that Duterte raised the matter of Chinese vessels shadowing Philippine ships in the West Philippine Sea during their meeting.
Para naman magkaroon tayo ng progress kasi yun naman talagang habol natin. Patuloy ang pag-uusap. Kaya I welcome any new lines of communication. If that is President PRRD, then good. I'm sure he will be able to tell us what happened during the conversation and see how that affects us.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other headlines. Commitments approved by the Board of Investments, or BOI, more than tripled in the first 6 months. The BOI said it approved 698 billion pesos worth of investments from the 155 projects between January to June. This is 3 times more than the 230 billion pesos worth of investments from the same period last year. The board says the spike in investment pledges was driven by an increase in renewable energy projects. The Philippines recently opened up the sector to full foreign ownership. And the Commission on Elections is seeking reconsideration of the Supreme Court's ruling that the succeeding barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan, or SK, elections will be held on the first Monday of December 2025. This is because it is also set to conduct the midterm elections in May, which gives them just a few months to prepare for the BSKE. COMELEC also argued that would-be BSKE officials will only have a 2-year term since they will be voted for in October of 2023. The COMELEC is hoping to be able to hold the BSKE, or Barangay and SK, elections the next year or in 2026. The Office of the Solicitor General says that the International Criminal Court, or ICC's failure to rule on the issue of jurisdiction over the Philippines could be used as a precedent in future cases. Solgen Menardo Guevara says the unresolved issue will be a powerful argument for any person who may be investigated or charged by the ICC. The International Court denied the country's appeal to stop the resumption of the probe into the alleged crimes against humanity committed by the Duterte administration in its war on drugs. Shifting over now to sports, local organizers said that the country is almost 100% ready to host the FIBA World Cup next month. Mobile journalist Bel Gregorio with the details.
With 37 days left until the FIBA World Cup 2023, private sectors, government agencies, and volunteers are going all out in preparing for the country's historic hosting. Earlier today, the FIBA 2023 World Cup Local Organizing Committee met with different government agencies in the Philippine Sports Commission complex. They spent hours exchanging insights and identifying concrete steps to ensure a smooth sailing journey for the World Cup delegates, teams, fans, and everyone who will be in Manila throughout the tournament. From immigration, traffic flow, transportation, security, accommodations, and the overall experience, no stone was left unturned.
I would say after the meeting this morning, we are 98% ready, especially in all the venues and all the traffic management plan.
Aside from heads of the FIBA Local Organizing Committee, Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Dickie Bachman also graced the event, where he pledged full support for improved practice facilities and financial needs.
100% now of the funding of government is with the FIBA LOC already.
Chairman Bachman also shared that he sent a request to President Bongbong Marcos to make the FIBA World Cup opening on August 25 a holiday to ease traffic flow. The opening will take place in the Philippine Arena with performances headlined by Sarah Geronimo and Ben. Scheduled after is Gilas Pilipinas' first 2023 World Cup game, where they will face Dominican Republic. The countdown continues, but for now, that's the latest for the FIBA World Cup. Mobile journalist Bel Gregorio, we are One News.
One News Now will be back at 6 p.m. with the day's latest stories. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.